So, an interesting question came up the other day when I was giving a talk up on the North Island. And the question was whether it's okay to hold the bat, the racket, with any type of grip. Well, to my knowledge, there's no restriction on the type of grip that you use when you hold the bat. Probably the most common, though, and the one that we tend to use in some of our Parkinson's table tennis groups is what's called a shake hand grip. And it's probably called a shake hand grip because it starts like this, where you put your hand out like you're going to shake somebody's hand, and then you just put the bat right into your hand. And you can see how I put the bat in my hand, and on this side here, I've got my finger for support going along the base. And on this side here, I've got my other fingers. But in reality, it's really these fingers that are holding the bat, and these are just kind of curved around it. Okay? Now, it's nice to have freedom of choice in how we hold the bat. And there's other kinds of of standard grips as well to some people, like what's called a pen hold grip. I can't really demonstrate that very well because I've never actually used it, but shake hands probably still, it's much more common. And then there's something called a C Miller or a V grip. I'm not even sure what those are. But just to tell you, other questions that came up, can you change the grip while you're playing? Well, yeah, you can change the grip. And in fact, a lot of players use that strategically to do, for example, serving or to switch from a forehand to a backhand. Slight changes in grip. You might, for example, move your thumb a little bit up when you're using some form of forehand, but your thumb, you might be shoving it down a little bit when you're using the other side of the bat. And it's okay really to grip the rubber or to have your fingers on the rubber. That's okay too. I've seen some people playing with more than one finger on the rubber. Those things are all okay. Now, so that's perfectly legal. Now, your racket hand, though, that's also defined. It is kind of regulated in some way, in that you need to with your racket hand, the one you're hitting the ball, when you're hitting with this racket hand, you're actually not to touch the table with the other hand. Now, we relax that somewhat, particularly in our groups with Parkinson's. In fact, sometimes we even suggest to sort of lightly touch the table for balance. So we do have some slightly relaxed regulations in our Parkinson's. But I wanted to say the qualifier is that if you're competing at some world-class tournament, they may use particular regulations that we don't use in our local team practices. The other thing I know about the bats is it used to be black and red rubber. You see, I have black on one side, for example. And yes, that is to help you and also your opponent know which side of the bat you're hitting with, because you could have two different types of rubber as well. You could have a rubber that sort of dulls the spin on one side. More recently, they've introduced a number of other colors. And so you're seeing nice bright colors, pinks and sort of a greenish, and I even have the blue. I even have a blue color, but you still need to have black on the other side. Does it matter if the black side is your forehand side or your backhand side? Not to my knowledge. So I think you can choose what you want, but you need to have the two different colors on the bat, and as long as you have one of them being black. All right, enjoy your table tennis.